This is the dawn of a new era in British karting. Over 550 drivers in 12 classes competing for victory over 18 race weekends. This is the Motorsport UK British Kart Championships. Senior X30 will take on the extended West of Scotland Kart Club venue, Larkhall, and the longer straights will test the brakes and patience of all the competitors. Clayton Ravenscroft suffered heartache in yesterday's final with a dramatic brake failure, costing him vital championship points. His mission is simple: bounce back on Sunday.
I am Clayton Ravenscroft and I am racing in the Senior X30 class in the Motorsport UK British Championship. I've had a really good start to the season. I won both rounds at PFI. And coming away from there, leading the championship. At Shennington, we had a really good, decent set of points, finishing third and fourth in both the finals. So really positive looking into this weekend. So leading the championship and trying to carry on with the point scoring throughout the rest of the season.
We're ready for action in the Senior X30 final. Danny Curl and Clayton Ravenscroft on the front row from Thomas Turner, Jack Gordon, Oliver Hodgson and Gus Lawrence. Jake Sanson and Kai Bacchini with you as we get under starters orders. This time we're away, and it's a cracking start at the front of the field for Danny Curl. The driver's charged through the first corner, and it looks like Curl has got through with Thomas Turner into second position. The O-plate has gone straight through into second position as the drivers cut through. And there's going to be a very competitive run out of the first few corners of the lap. They're going to make their way through that chicane on the far side. And there's going to be a really strong battle as they come back into view. Danny Curl in front of Thomas Turner and Oliver Hodgson running well in third position. A cracking start in front of Ravenscroft, then Jack Gordon, Nelson King, and then it is Gus Lawrence, the current championship leader after yesterday's close encounter. But now Danny Curl is hoping to hang on to his run at the front of the field. Yellow flags. We've got a couple of drivers in the wars. That looks like Josh Graham got into the battle with Nippers, with the 79 in there as well. And unfortunately, Alex Patterson has gone in with Morgan Porter and Ruben Moyer. The three of them in major trouble. Morgan Porter's got going again. It's really not his weekend. Jensen Brown in dire straits as well. The drivers affected in that one were Graham, Nippers, Hodge, Barlow, Jensen Brown, Morgan Porter and Alex Patterson. And I think one of them has not come around, and that is Risa Shijima, who has unfortunately not been able to make it back around again. Although I think he has now restarted. Yes, he has. The Pierce Sexton Racing driver back into the action. But what a four-way scrap we've got in the lead of the race now. It's Curl, Turner, Hodgson, Ravenscroft, and it's an absolute thriller as they battle away off of the banking. This is going to be quite an interesting one, and if it ends like this, Thomas Turner's going to take the lead of the championship.
Yeah, it will be interesting to watch Thomas Turner to see if he's able to take the lead of the championship. Currently on 343 points, so lead the championship by 1 point. That is absolutely amazing, but Danny Curl will be trying his best to get up there in the championship.
Not the greatest lap for Matt Armstrong. He's plummeted down to 14th in that lap. But it's Curl from Turner, Hodgson, Ravenscroft, Gordon King, Lawrence, Hudson, Westover and Ruben Moyer. So it wasn't Moyer involved in that first lap incident. It was Rhys Ishijima, his teammate. So as they come up towards the square right and then into the infield section, these new long straights into the tight hairpins, we're going to see quite a squabble at the front end between Danny Curl, Thomas Turner. Now, Rhys Ishijima's got going again. A couple of drivers in the wars as they battle into the far side. But Danny Curl leads, Turner second place, Hodgson is third and Ravenscroft in fourth position. They continue to battle at the sharp end of the fray. But we're going to see some really exciting duels further back as well. As up the inside, that's Sean Butcher in the final turn making the move on Matt Armstrong. So he gets through into 13th place once again. Armstrong really struggling in the conditions. But a really exciting battle up at the sharp end as Danny Curl tries desperately to hang on in front of Thomas Turner. Oliver Hodgson in third place and Clayton Ravenscroft there in P4. And as they come back into view, up towards the infield section, Hodgson is just settling into a third place rhythm with Thomas Turner as they try to battle forward. Some really intense battles up at the sharp end of the dais as the competitors continue through that banked hairpin. And Hodgson looking very racy in there with Thomas Turner at the moment.
Yep, he is looking very looking very feisty with Oliver Hodgson, Thomas Turner, both looking very feisty. Obviously, Oliver Hodgson in second position, Thomas Turner in third, but Danny Curl out in the lead by 0.6 of a second.
So how is Thomas Turner going to break the deadlock here in third position? Because now that Turner is down to third, behind Oliver Hodgson, Hodgson now getting into that second place spot. So with Turner down to third, that actually places Gus Lawrence into the lead of the championship again, as into the pit lane comes Alex Patterson. Patterson appears to be out of the race now. What a shame for the local hero. Hodgson in his second place has really dropped them off the back of Danny Curl. Now, in terms of the championship fight, Danny Curl being down in a long way down in the championship fight, having missed the first round of PF International, of course. He is not necessarily a contender for the championship, although if he continues to do every round of this year's championship, PFI in the first round of the series could just be his drop scores. And Danny Curl, all of a sudden, is potentially a long game championship contender. If you take his drop scores into account, he is right up at the sharp end. Gus Lawrence, though, in the virtual championship is the current leader. From Thomas Turner, a point behind him. Ravenscroft is a point behind him if it stays like this. So Gus Lawrence being in 7th position is still technically going to lead the championship if it finishes like this. If he can make a few more places, then Lawrence is going to have a real stronghold on the British Championship. This is turning into a real whirlwind season for the V Motorsport driver. But Danny Curl, 2017 FIA World Champion, is leading here after a second place finish yesterday. He is not going to settle for that today. Thomas Turner was our race winner 24 hours ago, but he's going to struggle to make the gains on Oliver Hodgson. 5 minutes down and 10 to go. And Danny Curl leading Oliver Hodgson and Thomas Turner, with Ravenscroft in 4th from Jack Gordon and Nelson King. Gus Lawrence is 7th from Rory Hudson. Westover is 9th, and Ruben Moyer is up to 10th place in front of Laflamme, Cossetane, Tillett, Matthew Hudson and Cole Kilner, who's up 9 places to 15th off the start. And some good progress made from a few of the drivers further down in the pack too. Mulsdale's up 8, Driscoll's up 9, Westworth is 2. But Hodgson is still hanging on in front of Thomas Turner and Ravenscroft. It's looking like stalemate in the fight for second position right now.
Yeah, it will be a difficult fight for second position. Obviously, on track is going to be Oliver Hodgson and Thomas Turner battling for that third position. But don't miscount Clayton Ravenscroft. He's about 3 tenths behind them, and he will be fighting for that third position when he gets close enough.
And I'm sorry to say that Thomas Wood has picked up a mechanical flag, and it's for his rear bumper. The right rear of the rear bumper is dragging on the floor, and that's a real shame for Thomas Wood. His race is over.
Yeah, that's very unfortunate for Thomas Wood. He was in 18th, he came up from 20th and made up 2 places.
Well, a big shame for Wood. Unfortunately, there's nothing he can do about that now except return to the pits and try to fix it. If they can do it quickly, then they can send it back out of the tail of the field and he might be able to gain back some time. But Ravenscroft is now seriously hunting down Thomas Turner. Hodgson's starting to edge back in towards Danny Curl, but Ravenscroft clearly wants third position from this race. If he can get on the terms with Thomas Turner and try and get that swing back in his favour, he can get back into second place in the Drivers' Championship. But that brake failure yesterday has really hurt Ravenscroft's championship chances, and he's going to fall to third position in the standings if it stays like this. If Gus Lawrence were to lose another place and Ravenscroft were to get past Turner into third position, he might be able to take the lead of the championship back again. But it's looking very tenuous at the top for the KR Sport driver as Danny Curl continues to lead with Gus. Where's Hodgson? Where's Hodgson disappeared to? Oliver Hodgson, he's gone. He was in second position and he's now gone from the fray. I think Hodgson is out of it. Trying to see where he is around the circuit, but Hodgson has disappeared. I can only assume that Oliver Hodgson has a mechanical failure of some kind. Archie Tillett is out there, but Hodgson has disappeared. He is no longer in the fray, and that means that Turner is going to be a much stronger championship contender. He is going to tie for points with Gus Lawrence on 343. Hodgson is down the order, and I'm afraid I can only assume that's mechanical failure for Hodgson. He's out of the race, he's out of my view, unfortunately. But at the bottom hairpin, it looks as though Hodgson's day is over, and that's a big shot and a big disaster.
Yeah, that's very unfortunate from the number 3. He was on an absolute fire streak. He was in second position, and he has fallen all the way down. Thomas Turner in second and Clayton Ravenscroft in third, who will be battling for second position.
It's a massive, massive shame for Hodgson, and that ruins his chances in the championship. But Turner in second and Ravenscroft now third are dueling for the lead in the championship. If Ravenscroft could get past Turner, he would retake the lead of the Drivers' Championship. Gus Lawrence now in sixth position is on 343. That would tie him on points with Thomas Turner. Ravenscroft would be 2 points back. And Rory Hudson would emerge in fourth position in the standings on 335. Rory Hudson has quietly got on with things this season. He's stayed consistent and very competitive in the top five. Here this weekend, Ravenscroft up the inside of Turner and gets second position. And Gus Lawrence at the same time collides and out of the race. Lawrence collides with Nelson King. The championship leader has gone at the hairpin. Gus Lawrence is desperately trying to get going again, and that has completely changed the championship fight. Ravenscroft past Turner. He takes the lead of the Drivers' Championship with Lawrence down the order. In 4 seconds, the shape of the British Championship fight changes dramatically. And that means to say that Ravenscroft is now set to be the championship leader again. Yellow flags waving, and that is for Nelson King. His cart is still at the scene of the accident. But what a shock. Gus Lawrence, the championship leader, falls all the way to 25th. His move on Nelson King comes to nothing. King is out, and Lawrence is down to 25th. What a shocker.
Yeah, that's an absolute shocker. And there was a black flag for the number 62, and I'm pretty sure that was Thomas Wood, who mustn't have came in for his mechanical flag and has picked up a black flag for that, which is a disqualification, which is very unfortunate.
Yeah, it's a real shame. Unfortunately, not seeing the black flags, or certainly not seeing the mechanical flags, is not really an excuse in the British Championships. You need to know to look out for the flags. And Thomas Wood has just continued on regardless for those 3 additional laps. And now he receives the black flag. And that's a real shame. So I'm afraid Thomas Wood, if he doesn't pit, he's basically going to get the rule book thrown at him on the way back in. But Danny Curl continues on, oblivious to all of this. It was big drama yesterday as Ravenscroft went into the barriers at the same hairpin that Lawrence and King collided at. But what a massive shock in terms of the championship fight. Lawrence is now down in, well, he's fighting desperately to get back up the order. He's 25th now. And there's problems for Tom Wood as he realises that he's got the black flag, so he's going to have to pit at the end of the lap. He doesn't hold up anybody. He just gets right out of the way. And he knows now that he's got to pit in whatever happens. And a big shock in the championship fight. 4 minutes to go, and Danny Curl is going to be our race winner if he holds on to this. With Ravenscroft now in front of Thomas Turner. It looks to me as though Ravenscroft made the move at exactly the right moment, because he's been able to make up the gap as Thomas Wood finally comes into the pits and joins Nelson King, Oliver Hodgson and Alex Patterson on the sidelines. But it's drama aplenty in Senior X30, but for Ravenscroft, this is the perfect way to bounce back from yesterday's disappointment. Second position in the race will mean he's the lead of the championship by 2 points to Turner.
Yeah, this is an amazing result from Ravenscroft so far. Let's just hope he can keep this up. And he will be under pressure from Thomas Turner, though, with 3.5 minutes to go. Will he be able to keep the lead?
Well, interestingly, Danny Curl out in front. He missed the first round of the championship, don't forget. But if he continues to keep the pace up through this weekend, he could obviously get the victory here, but this might spur him on to do the last 3 rounds of the championship. If he's in the top 3 every time there, with dropped scores taken into account, PF can be his dropped scores, the race he missed. Danny Curl is now an outside bet for the British Championship. If he can continue these performances, he's going to get there at the very death of the championship when drop scores come into account. But there's every chance that the Jade Racing driver, if he continues on in the season, could end up as a surprise British champion at the end of the year. He could do it even though he missed the first round, and that would be a sensational fillip for him. Thomas Turner, meanwhile, is not done in third position. He's going to charge after Ravenscroft and try and get that second place back. 2.5 minutes on the clock, and still no idea what's going to happen next.
Yeah, we're never going to know until the race is finished. It's definitely going to be interesting to see what the result is. And I think the top 3 won't see the same. I think we will see Ravenscroft and Thomas Turner trying to have a battle for that second position.
So a big disaster for several drivers in this race, none the least of whom is Oliver Hodgson. And Thomas Wood, of course, with his problems. Nelson King colliding with Gus Lawrence, and Nelson King is out of the race, as we know. Gus Lawrence is desperately trying to make up places. He's up to 20th now, and that has got him to 329 points. But how big a shock is that disappointment for Lawrence, because he was leading the championship. going into this race. And now, looking at where he's likely to finish, he will fall to 4th in the standings, a full 14 points behind Ravenscroft. That is how big that collision with Nelson King has cost him. Once the championship leader, now he's fighting to get himself back in contention. He's up to 19th now, so he is making some progress, but this is an absolute heartbreaker for Gus Lawrence, as he really desperately needed those points.
Yeah, Gus Lawrence definitely needed those points. As you can see, just dropping down a couple of places can definitely affect your championship. Now he's struggling for 4th position in the championship, and he was comfortably in the lead.
But he's managed to gain some of it back. He's now 13 points back, moving his way up to 19th position. But now, interestingly, Ravenscroft and Turner are getting closer together. The battle for 4th place is rocking up. This is Gordon, Hudson and Westover as we go into the final minute of the timed race. Gus Lawrence has got up to 19th position. Now that's going to give him a handful of extra points, but certainly not enough to lead the championship as he was at the start of the race. And he's actually being caught by Angus Moulsdale. So Moulsdale is trying to get himself back into contention after a very difficult weekend on his home track. But Danny Curl continues his pace out front, looking ever the champion he was in 2017 in the World Final. And now he has got a chance here as he continues to battle away into what is going to be the penultimate lap. Danny Curl, you have to say, Kai, has not put a wheel wrong in this entire race. He got into that lead, he consolidated his position, and he continues beautifully to hang on to the advantage.
Yeah, he's been driving consistently, absolutely perfectly. Amazing drive so far from Danny Curl, and very consistent driving.
So he looks to be getting the victory out of this one. It's all down to Ravenscroft and Turner as to who can hang on for that 2nd place finish, as Danny Curl is on his penultimate lap. Next time around, he'll get the final lap board as they go into the tight hairpin, and Ravenscroft is checking out in front of Turner. He has opened up a couple more kart lengths. Gordon has done likewise to Rory Hudson and Louis Westover. The star of the show in a way here is Rory Hudson. How consistent is he being? Because now he's looking for 5th position, and that's going to put him up to 3rd in the Drivers' Championship. Just 6 points behind Clayton Ravenscroft in the lead. All of a sudden, Rory Hudson in this 3rd weekend of the championship is now a legitimate championship contender.
Yep, and it does look like Danny Curl has this race literally put in his back pocket. On the last lap, he has a 3.5-second gap, so I think he's definitely got this one in the bag.
So Danny Curl continues to nip one, pearl one in each of the apexes as he continues beautifully on the final lap to hold station in the lead of the race. But Clayton Ravenscroft has done what he needed to and given himself a bit of a points break in front of Thomas Turner. That move has got him not only into 2nd place in front of Turner, but also back into the lead of the Drivers' Championship. It's a comfortable performance from him, but Danny Curl is going to ease into these final corners and continue as he did at Shenington. Danny Curl takes the victory, and he's done it again for Jade Racing. Pats the Nassau as he comes through over the line. Domination from the 2017 World Champion. Ravenscroft is 2nd, Turner is 3rd. 4th place for Jack Gordon, 5th for Rory Hudson, who now steps up to 3rd in the Drivers' Championship. And Louis Westover is 6th, in front of Eduardo Cosseteng, Axel Laflamme, who hadn't even driven this circuit until Saturday morning warm-up. Great result for him. 9th for Ruben Moya, the Spaniard, very good performance indeed. And up to 10th place for Archie Tillett as he finishes up in the top 10. Henry Ayres up 10 places. Callum Driscoll makes his way up to 18th place. Remember, he had that problem before the start and fights his way up into 18th position. It's a hammer blow, though, for Gus Lawrence, who so easily could have left here as the championship leader. He's now down to 4th in the standings, 13 behind Ravenscroft. Senior X30, dramatic as ever, but Danny Curl, what a victory.
Amazing win from Danny Curl, absolutely flawless driving. I couldn't put my finger on one mistake that he made.
An absolutely fantastic battle from Senior X30 and a really exciting run from Danny Curl to take the victory in front of Ravenscroft and Thomas Turner.
Nobody can touch Danny Curl once he's in the lead, and even Clayton Ravenscroft and Thomas Turner struggle to stay with him. If he keeps it up, the former world champion could even be a late challenger for the title.
Yeah, I had a really good day yesterday, managed to get a gap at the start and just maintain it all the way through. And today I had a really good start, but didn't quite have the pace of the likes of Danny and Clayton towards the end.
Yesterday we didn't have the greatest of days with brakes not working very well and not being able to finish the final yesterday after a brake failure. But we came back today a lot stronger and fought our way to second in the final. Had a really good race with the likes of Tommy T and Ollie Hodgson. And yeah, just fought it out. Couldn't catch Danny in the end, but he drove a really good race and we did what we could.
Yeah, no, the final was a good race for me. I had a big gap. I don't know quite when we had the gap. I don't know if there was a battle or not, but just head down all the way, and then the barrel was hooked up really well, and that was it. Pretty simple.